this is going to sound crazy to people who've not really thought this out. And I'm going to put that out there right now. This might sound insane to you, but we are being desensitized to the death of innocence. And if that sounds ridiculous, then just look back at some of our very recent history and you'll see things that are shocking 10 years ago that don't even, barely make the news now. Economic events, political events that would have happened a decade ago that would have been people freaking out, demanding termination or the impeachment of entire administrations and disbanding Congress, to now just accept it as, this is normal. It's normal to not have any kind of a debt ceiling and to not really even talk about it in the establishment media other than to mention, hey, don't worry, we're going to eliminate pesky ceilings on these things so we can have a functioning government. And nobody raises an eyebrow anymore to this. Just 5 years ago, that was a battle. That was a topic of multiple interviews, multiple radio programs, multiple of my commentary videos, this fighting on the debt ceiling. Now, it's just a closed door behind the scenes, 2 a.m. thing that nobody really even gives a crap about anyway. The same thing could be said for the melding of business and government, fascism. That in 2008, it was kind of a big deal when we did bailouts. Everybody was like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on here? To now where it's a means of economic development. That is what bailouts and government intervention and selling off of our financial future in order to make sure that markets are stable and make sure that the Dow Jones never has anything more than an absolutely technically perfect correction. And we just sit back and we're like, I guess this is normal now. It takes an entire generation to be immersed into a new normal. We see the new normal brought to our attention, cultivated, developed, and unleashed onto us at record speed. No longer does it take 20 years, a complete generation, to convince a nation that your financial future is secondary to corporate financial future, because they are, in fact, the economy. No longer does it take 20 years to destabilize a country's economic base that way. Now we can do it in half that time. And when it comes to bloodshed, murder, gore, killing of our fellow human beings for pretty much now, we can fill in the blank, because no longer does it have to be a ruthless Hitler-esque type enemy. Now it can be preemptive. We can think that, this group of people or this sector, this religion is going to be a problem. So we're going to go ahead and preemptively take care of that issue. And at the same time, as we're doing that, as hundreds of thousands of people are dying around the world and almost getting no media coverage now, especially compared to when the 2003 re-invasion of Iraq, war on terror, truly got underway. Not only are we not looking for solid facts, we're not looking anymore for Colin Powell in front of the UN saying WMDs are there. We're not looking for that anymore. Why? Because we've been taught that A, the government always lies. B, there's nothing we can do about it. And C, they always have our best interest at heart at the long run. Preemption is a good thing. Precog is a good thing. And it doesn't take generations. Now it just takes several news cycles before that seed is planted, and we are accepting without, almost to a point now, without question. And in case there is still those that are questioning out there, the government's taking care of that too, with the expansion of their authority to limit free speech, to limit any kind of thought. I see this airliner getting shot out of the air a year after this other airliner got shot out of the air, both of them in conflict areas, both of them with forces that the West has deemed to be terrorists. And in the case of Ukraine, these rebels who are fighting the Western-backed government in Kiev. In the case of Syria, or in the case of Egypt, we have ISIS spreading its wings and starting to drop airplanes out of the air. Questions are not asked other than peripheral AP written or UPI written questions, followed by a rinse and repeat by the establishment media. And for the most part, it's out of the news cycle within a week or two. So, even looking back just a short period ago, the Ukraine airliner comes out of the air, obviously happened in a conflict area, obviously happened outside of that aircraft, meaning outside of problems with the aircraft or problem with the flight crew. That plane was brought down, blown up, whatever. It was an exterior force that killed all those people. That stayed in the media for quite some time. But as we see this crisis, yet another crisis develop, another desensitizing event develop, we'll see it garner less and less attention so that we can be shown and taught that this kind of thing is what we are expected to see and what we are expected to understand, and why we must sit back and watch our government turn into this murder machine around the planet, and why we must sacrifice so much of our blood and our treasure to get these scoundrels out of the way. And it doesn't matter if it's ISIS or it's Russia. They're all scoundrels. The media will paint them that way, or will be sold a bill of goods. And unfortunately, it is a bill of goods that's a lot easier to swallow for people as they are desensitized into this never-ending war on truth.